Well, there have been a series of explosions at a residential complex and a building belonging to Ukraine's security service in the central city of Dnipro. Authorities say at least 9 people were injured in that attack on Friday night. The incident comes a day after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy visited the city to meet military commanders.
There were 2 explosions in Dnipro. We are now at the site of one of the 2 impacts. One rocket hit the Kyiv residential complex and has partially destroyed it. Luckily, the building isn't fully occupied and there were few people inside. Most of them were construction workers. Another rocket partially destroyed a nearby building, the regional headquarters of the Ukrainian Security Service. No people have been killed. The injured have been taken to hospital and are being treated for minor injuries.
Well, Step Vaessen, our correspondent, now joins us from the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. Step, another missile attack here on Dnipro. Talk us through the damage.
Well, huge damage at this Genève apartment block, which was still partially under construction. It basically are 2 towers, and one was still being completed and the other one has already been occupied partially. And the missile basically hit the one that was still under completion. So luckily there hasn't been any casualties according to the Ukrainian authorities, but people were wounded and they had to leave their flats because they had also damaged debris falling down. So basically people have lost homes there. President Zelenskyy immediately called for an emergency meeting, also because a building next door of the security forces was also hit, and he called for revenge. He said Russia should be punished for this act of terror. And this all happened a few hours on Friday night, when on Friday afternoon, Rostov, a region in Russia, intercepted 2 missiles as well, causing also dozens of injuries from falling debris. So there's definitely an escalation here of the war, with more air attacks, but also the counter-offensive that Ukraine has started a month ago has now also shown a little bit of breakthrough in the south, as they are reporting.
And Step, as we've been saying, it's been 1 year today since that explosion at the detention center in Olenivka. Dozens were killed there. What do we now know?
Yes, the Olenivka explosion there at the prison is one of the most deadly incidents since the full-scale invasion of Russia in 2022. It happened on the 29th of July. More than 50 prisoners of war died there. And what exactly caused this explosion is still heavily disputed. There hasn't been any access for a full-scale investigation, I have to say. The United Nations is still calling for an independent investigation to make sure that the families of those who died and also those survivors will know the truth of what has been the cause. There will be an event later today to commemorate the death and this event that happened exactly a year ago.
Step Vaessen there with the latest for us from the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. Thank you, Step.